If you're looking for ways to streamline your vacation planning, you're in the right place because I'm that friend. You know, the one who plans everything and has an answer for what should we do next? When I travel, my brain becomes a vacation encyclopedia, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. You don't have to be a travel research junkie to have a great trip. My secret is that I just use a combination of Google tools, a little bit of AI, and some new hacks to make it so much easier. Some friends of mine have recently told me that maybe I missed my calling, that I should be some sort of travel agent. And they could be right, I'm not sure, but I'm a stay-at-home mom. My name's Heidi, and I have ADHD and anxiety, but I also love trip planning. So this is the last of one of my videos in a travel series where I really wanted to share some of my favorite tips. We have talked about managing different vibes on a trip. We have talked about packing for a trip, and today is really about planning for the trip in terms of choosing your destination. And I am going to show you how I like using Google Maps. I like using Google Gemini, which is the AI feature. There's also a really cool screenshot feature that I'm going to show you how it integrates with Google Maps, and then Google Sheets. So that is how I organize my packing. I'm so curious. I want to know in the comments if you can put it down. Like, what is your ideal vacation? Like, are you like, girl, you need to be in a beach chair with a good book and silence and a mimosa? Or are you like, heck no, I would get stir crazy. I need to go on hikes all the time. I always want to know, like, what's your favorite ideal mix and maybe like your favorite destination for that. We can all learn from each other. How do you choose a new destination? Like, where do you start? And because we're lucky about the internet, you can just hop on there and just research to your heart's content. But there is a way that you can kind of streamline that process, and it all starts with thinking about the vibe of your trip. Are you going on a vacation that's full of adventure? Are you going on a vacation that is complete relaxation? Maybe a mix of both. Do you want to go to super fancy restaurants? Do you want to go to cheap eats because you're like, wow, that airfare was super expensive? So there's a lot of different vibe checks that you can do, and that's just a good way to get a handle on that, and especially if you're traveling not alone. So you need to really think about who's in your party, or if you want to start backwards and be like, I want to go on this adventure, who would be good for it? So you gotta start there. Once you have the vibe check, you're gonna go to step number 2, which is research mode. I love jumping to YouTube, in order to look for different destinations, a lot of vlogs. I'm such a visual traveler and planner that I need to see the destination where I'm going. I need to see pictures. And so I screenshot them all the time being like, someday I will get there. And that is where the magic sauce of Google's screenshot feature has come in so handy. So we're gonna talk about it. The screenshot feature is all you have to do is open up your phone, and as long as somewhere on this picture, on this Instagram reel, whatever you're doing, if it says in text where this is located, you can take a screenshot of it. And then if you open up Google Maps, that's when it will actually, you have to give it a hot second. Like it'll scan, it'll do this like little like, and then it says, hey, I saw that you took some screenshots. Would you like to add this to your map? And it will add this adorable little camera icon, and it will save the pictures. You can write some notes, and it's in your Google Maps. And it just blows my mind, because I have had so many times where I take a screenshot and then it never sees the light of day because I forget that I take it. My brain just disappears. But this is a way to really save it. And what I love about this feature is that once you research the crap out of a place and you're taking a bunch of those screenshots, you might actually see a cluster of where all of those things are. And that can really determine, hey, it looks like I need to go to Utah on my next trip. Or, wow, this very specific area is great, and the campsite looks like it's very close to these things that I'm very interested in. So it's a very helpful planning tool. So I love the screenshot feature. Step number 3 is using standard Google Maps. Sometimes I do my own research, I do a combination, but I am going to have Google Maps. When you go into Google Maps, if you haven't done this before, other than navigation, a lot of people use Google Maps just for navigation, but you can save places where you want to visit. My number one thing is I like saving my hotel as a star icon to say, this is home base. This is where we're located. And then food will be a certain flag. It's usually the green flag. It's like, yes, please, I would like to eat there. Coffee is its own little color on the map, as well as like places I want to go. So maybe it's like a special tour, or it's like a trailhead if you're going hiking. These are really, really helpful. The thing that I like about standard Google Maps, I know there's been a lot of amazing footage on Google My Maps, which can get super detailed. More on that on another video. But I loved using this feature on our last trip to Kauai. We did this amazing trip, my husband and I, and my instructions were don't overplan. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna not overplan. It's really hard to do. So what I would do is we would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, because our brains were on East Coast time. We would start the day with one hike. And then after that hike, our day was kind of open. And what was great about it is I could pull up my map after we were done with the hike. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take. I was able to say, okay, what are we in the mood for? Are we starving? Do we need something to eat? Are places open yet? Do we need coffee? And just depending on where we were in the day, I was able to pull up that map and with confidence say, yes, I know exactly where I want to go. And that was incredibly useful. The next step is that you could supercharge your planning by using AI. And I recently have really enjoyed using, I'll do a mix of like ChatGPT, but also Google's Gemini is really, really great because it integrates so nicely with Google Maps. And so I don't know why I didn't think about it on earlier trips, but now I know. What I like to do is you could either start with Google Gemini if you know nothing about the area that you want to travel to, or you can use it to really enhance the searches that you've been doing in your individual research. So you can go into Google Gemini, into Google, and you can be very specific about planning your next trip. Like ask really specific questions. Things like, tell me a list of the best local eateries in Kauai that locals love going to. Can you also include links or social handles so I can look up the menus and check them out? And it will generate this list. I like including the link ask because it really does ensure that you are getting legit places. Like sometimes AI, the complaint, it has its limits, is that it's like imaginary. Wouldn't this be nice if this place existed, but it doesn't. So you want to have verified links for some of these places, but it will spit them all out and say, here's all these different categories. And what I really like about using Gemini is that it has a map feature at the bottom. I don't think there's a way that you can automatically ask them to add this to an existing map of your own. However, I just love that it shows you on the map automatically where they are. So you can say, I know specifically I want to add this to my Google Maps. And it's been really, really helpful. Again, find the AI feature that you love most, but you can get really detailed. It'll, at the end, give you suggestions of other things that you can look up. And it just, again, further enhances things that you maybe never considered. I know for me, I like doing a mix of super touristy things. Like if I'm going to Kauai, yes, I'm going to hike some of the most popular hikes, but also I would love to experience some of the local culture. It's maybe not like on TripAdvisor. So that is something that I always like doing and asking AI because it'll scour the internet for you. And last but not least, there is Google Sheets, my friends. If you don't use Google Sheets, you should. It's great. It's more than just Excel. I like using it for qualitative research, but also just for organizing packing. I did show that in one of my latest videos, some of my favorite ways to kind of brain dump getting ready for a trip, and that was really helpful. So if you want to check that out, I have another video that I can post. But Google Sheets is great for collaboration. It's great for a brain dump of everything you need to do for a trip, and also just for researching. So if you're planning on traveling with a bunch of friends, you can share a link to say, put down your notes or add to the list of things we must do. And that's also a place where you could share a link for the Google map. You can add your own notes. You can have your own color-coded little flags. I really hope that today's video was useful to you. I don't always talk about travel, but I do love discussing ways to make it easier, especially if you are someone that struggles with ADHD or anxiety and going outside of your comfort zone really works you up. There are so many ways to make this easier. On my channel, I also talk about organizing and keeping things easier around the home. So come back to At Home with ADHD another time. But in the meantime, happy planning, and I hope you have an excellent new adventure on the horizon.